Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. I have Chase Russell with me, and he is the founder of Russel Aviation, an Air Force veteran, father, husband, um, and you're a full-time student. Wow, you really have a lot of hats. And we're going to talk today about Russel Aviation, which was built from the ground up, and your focus is luxury private flights. I told him that hopefully this interview today gets me, a discount somewhere, um, especially now that we're moving a little bit out of COVID, although he is in Florida where we say maybe COVID is, not really happening. So I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But you served two tours of in Afghanistan. So first and foremost, thank you for your service. We always appreciate that. And then when you came home, you began Russel Aviation. Um, so give us a little background about what Russel. You're so young, so tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about, first of all, you must have a love for aviation that had to have started long before you built this company. Give us a little bit of history about yourself.
Yeah, so I joined the Air Force right out of high school, and I honestly I didn't think anything about aviation growing up. I was never around planes. I always had a fascination with them. So every time I'd go to the airport, I'd see a plane, and like any other kid, I would sit there and be in awe of this huge, mechanical thing that just flies through the air. Like it's still even at 26, I'll be 27 on Monday, but it's still a fascination to me. So when I joined the Air Force, I started to learn actually about aircraft. I started to learn about how they operate, how they fly, and
Mm-hmm.
and just the whole mechanics behind it. And it just created this passion of aviation and anything about it. When I got done serving in the Air Force, I started thinking, what do I want to do afterwards? And I always had a passion for business too. I always had this entrepreneurial spirit. I always had this drive to just create something from nothing and just put an idea on paper and really build the business, from the ground up. And so I started right before I got out. I was actually I did a short tour in Kuwait in 2017, which it's kind of like a year-long stint where you're deployed. Um, and I started thinking, it was about a year before I got out. I was like, what do I want to do? What do I want to start building? Because I knew I wanted to start a business. So I started looking at, private air charters, and I started thinking there's really no in between really expensive private charters, the tens of thousands of dollars that you
Right.
see every CEO celebrity flying on, and people that can afford that but don't want to, but so they fly first class. In first class, you've got all the hassle of commercial air travel. You're going through the airport, you're going through baggage, just like anybody else if you're flying coach or business. So I was
I
like,
like
what
to I
about?
like I like to say like an airline seat is like an iPhone. At any
Yeah,
given moment, if you survey people, you can survey and find out what did you pay for the same seat. And I and
yeah.
I equate that to even first class. It's just it's everybody's seat is a different price.
Well, the market research shows that. I mean, they want to fly in comfort. I mean, if you're spending, especially if you're spending hours or you're taking a vacation, you're doing a destination
Mhm.
wedding, you want to fly in comfort. You want to do something that's comfortable. The vision that people have about flying and traveling, air travel right now, is that it's so cumbersome. It's so terrible.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to go to the airport. And that's not, I didn't look at aviation with my passion for aviation. I didn't look at, I thought, that's not how it should be. It really
Right.
isn't how it should be. People should enjoy flights. They should enjoy the everything that comes along with flying through the air at 400 knots. It's
Well,
an exciting thing.
and I think you're 100% right. We know you're 100% right that air travel has become a pain in the neck to get to your fun, or a pain in the neck to get to your business trip. And somewhere along the way, it happened that way. It happened that way when luggage started getting lost more, or we're shoving more people on the flight, or it wasn't even the cost of the cost of flights. I don't think it was the the lining up, the services and amenities that were taken away, the just all the different things that uh, you know
And it shouldn't
use.
it shouldn't be that way. It's definitely flying should be an experience. It should be
Mhm.
fun. It should be if you're going to, Mexico or you're going on vacation or something like that, you should have from start to finish. It should be an exciting experience. And that was my whole aura around creating Russell Aviation is the people that are flying first class that really they don't want to fly first class, but they don't have another option because they're not going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a normal private charter. You've got it. Most private charter companies, it's a required membership, and it starts at about 4,000. That's the cheapest membership. It's 4,000, and it's required. And then you have to pay the hours on top of that for the aircraft, and you have a minimum flying hour. What about the person that just wants to take a private flight, like for instance for a destination wedding? You want the limousine for prom, you want the private flight, but you want it affordable. And I know how aircraft work. Coming from the Air Force, I know exactly how much it costs to operate certain types of aircraft. I know what the fuel cost is, and I'm looking at these other charter companies and I'm thinking they're making outrageous profit margins, and people are paying it because they don't want to fly commercial and they have no other options. So
So
then the idea.
tell me how your, because we've got people listening, and I just said to you, we're in Michigan. It's sunny and 80 today. So, but it doesn't mean that we don't want to get on an airplane and go somewhere. But certainly, I will say, when COVID in particular hit, everybody said, I don't want to get on the Delta flight. How, and I work with a travel agent. Um, so I definitely want to connect you. But, how do we get out of here? And a lot of people said, I'm going to fly private. I'm going to get my group together. I'm going to get a big group together, and we're going to fly down to Palm Beach or wherever, and, smaller airports, and fly private, divide it all up, whatever.
Mhm.
And they did it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing you saw when COVID first hit, early 2020, is you saw an increase in private flight bookings. People got stuck, is what happened. Is people got stuck where they were at because they couldn't travel commercially. The airlines
Mhm.
shut down, and that's one of the hassles you have with commercial travel is that you can get stuck. That flight can get canceled or anything like that. When you're flying privately, it's not the same, and
Mhm.
inherently it allows you to social distance. It allows you. It's a safer environment. Having a smaller fleet of aircraft allows you to maintain very cleanly environment and
Mhm.
sanitize everything. Smaller aircraft, it's a lot quicker to clean, so you can get the turnover rate a lot faster, and you can keep those jets in the air all the time. Um, but going back to the COVID situation is that 70 the market went up 70%. It was one of the only industries that actually increased much more during COVID because you're not going to stop traveling. Nobody's going to stop traveling unless Elon Musk invents teleportation in the next few
Right.
months or the next few years. Everybody's flying. There's no other way to get around. And the thing with Russell Aviation is make it more comfortable, make it
Mhm.
affordable. Because what happened was when COVID hit, people didn't have another option. They had to pay tens of thousands of dollars, and they broke the bank just trying to get home. That's wrong. In my opinion, that's wrong. It shouldn't be like that.
So where do you fly in and out of? Like, what is your?
So our home base is here in Punta Gorda, Florida. And then we're doing a capital raise right now to expand nationwide. We'd like to set up an auxiliary in Naples. We want to set up an auxiliary in Atlanta, and then eventually move into the New England and all over the continental US. That way we can offer services anywhere. Technically, we can fly services anywhere. It kind of works out differently with the FAA restrictions on where you can fly based on my certifications for the company. But in our aircraft, where how far they can fly, we fly a smaller light size jet that only has so much range. And it makes it uncomfortable for the simple fact that if I'm flying so far, I'm going to have to land, refuel, and that's just not comfortable for the consumer. So part of our capital raise right now is to purchase larger aircraft where we can start flying from California, New York, Michigan, down here to Florida, really hit that snowbird market here in
Mhm.
Florida. Our main premise is to bring people into Florida, experience my beautiful state that I'm a native of, that I love, and then also people that come here that want to take the vacations out into the Caribbean, and focus our efforts really on vacations in and out of the Caribbean, vacations here to Florida, and then also basic transport. Let's say
Mhm.
something like COVID happens again, and people need an alternative to not spending tens of thousands of dollars, they can look and say, hey, Russel Aviation, we can fly privately for a very affordable rate.
Okay. I mean, it's great to know. And what do you feel with the capital campaign that you have happening right now? What do you think your time frame will be?
We're looking at about August, middle of August, beginning of August. Another thing that the way it works out is we can raise as much capital as we want. The FAA has complete control over the certification. Anybody that's worked, like I said, I was in the military, so anybody that's
Yeah,
worked with the government before, um, they can take their time, which is good. It's due diligence. They want to make sure everybody's flying safely. They want to make sure that every box is checked and every I is,
right.
dotted. So that's good. However, for my company and making things ready to go, it mainly depends on the FAA certifications. And then of course, if we hit our capital raise.
How many pilots and like what's your fleet like currently?
So currently, we're going to be licensing two light-sized jets from private individuals, and then we're going to have one pilot on, and it's going to be back and forth. Part of this capital raise is also purchasing four more jets, and it's purchasing or it's getting the operating capital in order to grow, scale, and get more mechanics, get more every operational personnel that we're going to be needing. So
Sure.
it's
It's not just the pilots, I shouldn't say. You
oh
gotta
no, and
you gotta fuel the jets and maintain them and then also have the people serve the champagne.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of people, have this, if you're not in the airline industry, which, not many people are, let's face it. Um, there's a lot of back work that goes into all of this, and there's a lot of
Yes.
checks and a lot of balances, and everybody needs to get certified on this, checked on that. I mean, flying privately is by far, everybody's heard the term, flying is safer than driving a car, and that's 100% true. There are checks and checks and checks and
Mm.
rechecks on every single thing that you do. It's completely safe. And on private side of things, where it's not the commercial airlines, it's even more stringent, which is good. That's good. Safety is number one in any type of airline, any type of industry.
For sure. And for someone who I've been flying since I was a baby. I still have my little things, how I step on a plane. Everybody laughs. I have
You got to
my
touch the side and
I
everything.
gotta touch the side. And you know what? I was washing down a plane long before they were handing you Perel when you got on the plane.
Mhm.
I was doing that. How old do you actually have to be? It's funny because I now know. I was telling you offline. I'm so proud of my girlfriend's son becoming a pilot. He's 16. My son graduated long time ago, but one of his friends is now a pilot for Delta, I believe. So I'm definitely getting older. But how old do you have to be a pilot in the private industry? For an industry. I mean, like
There's no real, I mean, to be hired on full time, obviously you have to be 18 at least. There's no real age limit or requirement to be on this. However, the certifications and the checks that you're going to need, not only a private pilot, it's not only a commercial pilot's license, not only a commercial flight instructor, multi-engine. You got to be type rated on the exact type of aircraft. There's a lot. It goes back to the checks and balances thing. It's all safety, and that's an amazing thing. So it really depends on the individual how quickly they can complete all of those certifications, take their exams, pass their
okay.
exams, take their check flights. There's not necessarily a set number to answer your question directly. There's not a set number on the age.
Okay, well, I've got someone I know. He'll cruise along. I'll get you his resume along the way. he's a,
Absolutely, send it
he's a
over.
good he's a good one. Um, you know, what's the best way for people to find out more information about Russell Aviation? Because I think that, you know, we certainly live in a state that people are going to want to know more about you. And I think that regardless of people flying again, I think that people enjoyed the comforts of private more and more this year, but certainly more that if they can hear about more cost-effective ways to do it, they're going to be
Right. Yeah.
interested.
So people can definitely go on our website at www.russelaircharter.com. They can actually, on our website, they can subscribe to our email listing. We send out weekly and monthly updates on our capital raise, on when we're going to be starting flights in and out of certain areas.
Mhm.
And then they can also get updated for the people that are up north. They're going to be updated on when we're going to start flights in and out of up north. They're going to get special discounted prices by subscribing. They can find us if they're looking to invest or they're looking to get into our capital raise and gain some returns and even get discounts on flights. All of our investors are getting certain perks along with their investment. They can go on WeFunder, our WeFunder campaign at Russell Aviation, and find us there. And then, of course, on Facebook and Instagram, we're also on there where we send out updates on everything that's happening with us. For the people that are up north, we definitely are looking to connect with you. We're definitely looking to connect with all of those people that are wanting to fly down here and experience my beautiful state. I love people coming down here and enjoying Florida and having fun at our beaches.
Well, I definitely am going to do an email introduction with a travel agent that I work with because I think it's important that you guys connect. He was setting up a lot of Airbnbs this year, a lot of flights. And so it'll be good for him to meet you as you expand as well. I love to connect people, but I know that, you know, on a beautiful day like today, we're all okay here. Um, but yesterday it was raining and gloomy, and then we all started looking like, where can we go and how do we get out of here? And as I shared with you, my family lives in Florida, so believe me, you know, my kids have already said, when are we going? And, you know, so we all want to have the sunshine year round. I don't
Yeah,
blame you for,
it's been nice here in Florida. I don't think it's rained not in weeks, and it's been sunshiny, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
beautiful time to come down. Springtime in Florida.
Well, we love that. You know, please come visit again with me. Keep me updated. I definitely want to hear more as you grow. So definitely feel free to come back anytime and give us a little update of what's happening.
Of course, will do. Thanks so
All
much.
right. Thanks for sharing today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care. Have a good morning.
Have a good one.